Hello and welcome to another edition of For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest today is a returning guest to the show. Her name is Nancy Rossi. She's the managing executive at the Gemma E. Moran United Way Labor Food Center. And it's that time of year again, so we thought we'd invite her back to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Sean.
For those who didn't catch last year's show, the Gemma E. Moran United Way Labor Food Center, what is it?
It is, for practical purposes, a food bank. We're a food distribution center. We don't give out food to individuals, but we have member agencies and member programs, 90 programs over 60 agencies. Those agencies apply to become members, and they pay a fee, a small fee annually, that gives them the opportunity to come and shop 1 to 4 times a month at the food center. The amount of produce and product that they take is dependent on how large they are. We have some big Salvation Army that does a mass feeding, the St. Vincent de Paul.
Is that a church or?
It's the soup kitchen in Norwich. Okay. They do, they feed breakfast and lunch 5 or 6 days a week.
Yeah.
So they obviously take a large amount, but we have little school pantries, we have daycare centers, after-school programs, some of your local pantries. And so everybody is able to shop there, and then individuals, we call them guests, are able to go to those food pantries and get food.
So your place is like the big distribution center,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And that's why United Way is tied. United Way is basically a sort of a catch-all distribution source. It comes in and then it goes out to the various agencies that need it, right?
We generate revenue, and then we distribute. Yes.
Now let's talk about the Gemma E. Moran part of it, because there's a great backstory with her, whom I've met, who was at one of our broadcasts on the radio there one time. Sweet lady, and she got it all started. Talk about how it all came about.
She did. Gemma originally grew up in Boston. Very strong labor ethic. And she was an AFL-CIO labor liaison. She came from Boston to the New London area. And in the late 80s, there was a work stoppage, I think a strike going on at EB, Electric Boat. And she felt that a lot of the individuals who are out on strike and not able to collect much but a little bit of a strike benefit were hungry. Their kids were hungry, they were hungry, and she wanted to do something about it. So she went to some city officials, tried to talk with folks, as she recalls to us, to get them a little bit interested, and they told her that no one was hungry in the county.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Are these people that she was talking to, are they just not aware of their own surroundings?
Hard to say. You know, some people kind of close their eyes to things that don't,
ostrich head in the ground kind of thing?
Absolutely. So she got a $5,000 venture grant from United Way. She went to United Way, and at that time they had some discretionary funds, gave her $5,000. She started out, she went out and connected with a couple of local grocers to get a really good price. Started in a lawyer's garage somewhere here in Groton. And it went from there. They moved to the state hospital and then to Uncas Thames. And in 1998, I think, they moved to our current location on 374 Broad Street. And
that's been good to you for a number of years, hasn't it?
It's been very good to us, yes. We're getting a little more sophisticated in how we collect food, and we're really trying to ramp up the nutrition and really request in advance those items that really are the most popular and the most nutritious.
Well, you know, it's funny you should say that because, times are changing all around. When you go to restaurants now, either on their displays on the wall or their menus, everything's got calories listed. Right. You know, it's a good way to make you feel guilty about ordering the high-calorie stuff, too. But this is just another example of being more cognizant and aware of the nutritional quality or the lack thereof of food, right?
Right. Well, a lot of things, we try to focus on a lot of fresh produce, and we've developed some great partnerships to be able to get more produce. I think we get one truck from the Connecticut Food Bank every week that is almost all produce. It's caused us to really relook at how we do some things. We've had to get some refrigerated extra refrigerated space to be able to store it, but it also gives us an opportunity to give that much more really good quality food out.
You got to turn it around fast because you're really talking about perishable food items
Absolutely,
there, right?
absolutely.
Now, when you're talking about a food bank, could someone say, do you really have to be, or should you be that picky as far as the nutritional value if someone is in need? It's kind of like, you know, they're thankful regardless of what they're getting.
Right, and we kind of look at moderation and balance. Obviously, we are very grateful for any kind of a donation. We have great retail partners. We also have great individuals throughout the community who will bring food to us or write us a check. So we'll accept anything, and we try to balance that out when we're encouraging our pantries and our other shoppers to take a little bit of everything. And if you can focus on some peanut butter or dairy products or something where you get some protein, and you can balance it out with some of the other items that do come in on donations.
So if I gave you a bunch of chocolate cakes, you would still accept them, is what you're saying?
Absolutely. Oh yes, there are a lot of extra.
There might be a slice missing.
Yeah,
but,
well, Halloween candy with maybe the bag opened a little bit, but you know, somehow that we're able to get that out.
Now last year when we talked, you were celebrating the 25th anniversary. Is that what it was?
It was the 25th last year. So this year it was the 26th. We had an event at the end of September. Gemma turned 90 this year.
Wow, and still spry?
Still spry. Oh, absolutely. She'll check in.
Yeah.
And I always tell my colleagues at the food center, the lady's name is on the building.
That's right.
So we answer her phone calls.
Does she have a special? Oh, I thought she had like her own phone there or something.
The red phone or something.
Does she have a desk or an office there?
She doesn't anymore, but
Okay.
She does visit us regularly, and she generally will call me a few times a week, let me know what she's doing on behalf of the food center.
Where does she
in
live?
The community. She lives in Groton.
Okay, so she's local.
Yes.
I'll tell you a quick story about Gemma E. Moran, an experience that I had. We were doing I believe it was a turkey drive at your place at Gemma E. Moran, and for some reason there was a live turkey there too.
I've heard about that.
In a cage, and she came, and that happened to be a day that she was visiting, and she, being an animal lover, I guess, she was insistent that the turkey not be harmed in any way, because she thought, since we were doing a turkey drive, that maybe that was going to be on somebody's kitchen table, but it wasn't. But it was just sort of like there for like, you know, just for purposes, just to kind of get for promotional purposes.
Absolutely.
That's all.
Yes.
You know, figurehead turkey, not going to be part of it. But she made us promise that no harm would come to it,
Yes.
and we promised. So she just didn't want that turkey harmed.
It was like a founder pardon, right?
Right, yeah, that's right.
Yes.
She pardoned that turkey. He got a reprieve.
There you
He
go.
wasn't in any danger anyway. But just a great story about, you know, how she came to visit on one of our turkey drive days. And you just, as we taped this, you just wrapped up a turkey drive.
We did wrap up a turkey drive. We had one in East Lyme over the weekend. The weekend before, we had scouts, particularly from the Waterford troops and packs, that brought about 1,500 pounds to us. And we've got turkey drives and food drives on the next 2 weekends before Thanksgiving.
Now, is this the time of year where you're really ramping it up?
We're really ramping it up. I like to tell folks that people who are hungry all year round.
Right.
Sometimes the generosity or maybe the awareness is a little bit ramped up around the holidays as people think about getting together, their families and traditions. And so our donations definitely are higher this time of the year.
Didn't you tell me that in the summertime, sometimes it can get to really be bare bones in there because people aren't thinking about it and you kind of need donations in the summer?
Absolutely. I think the summer is I would say February, March into the summer usually are a little bit leaner times for us there. But we're very, very busy this time of the year. We have great volunteers. We have hit 10,000 volunteer hours this year at the food center, which is an awful lot of people, you know, giving us a lot of their time, because it takes a lot of time to take a product in and get it ready to go back out into the community.
Now, what is your facility is in New London, but you talked about places down in New Haven that would reach out, and what's your sphere of influence?
We are one of 3 food banks in the state. Connecticut Food Bank, which is our partner organization, covers the 6 counties, the shoreline counties and a little further north. And then Food Share in Hartford covers Tolland County and Hartford County. So we're a partner distribution organization under Connecticut Food Bank. So they get the big semis of product in. They deal with the national distributors, and then we in turn get our product from them. So we usually get about 18,000 to 20,000 pounds twice a week from them. And we get a lot of that out. I think we'll serve.
It moves in and out pretty quick, huh?
Absolutely, absolutely. Some of it is pretty ready to go right back out. A lot of it, we get a lot of bulk produce that we need to break down into manageable, manageable amounts. And we do have a mobile food pantry now that is up to 12 distributions a month. So every time, 3 to 4 times a week, we have that truck out on the road.
They can't come to you, you can go to them,
We
right?
can go to them,
Are there specific locations that you go to so they know where to?
Yes, we go to the same day of the week, the same week of the month to different. We have 2 in Groton, we've got 3 in Norwich, Colchester, Salem, Sprague. So we've got them throughout New London County. And the locations have been designated as food deserts. That's a term in food banking that means that a person doesn't have within walking distance or within a mile circumference the ability to go to a store that's large enough to carry a variety of products.
Are they going to areas that might be in areas that might have some, more need, maybe lower income areas in that way, so that just makes sense, right?
We have a few at schools. We have one at Thames River, and that's able to it's on a bus line. We try to find places on bus lines that gives people from students from Norwich and New London and that area to be able to shop there. And we tailor the times to the requests of that specific location. So we have a couple of morning locations that seem to be a little bit easier for seniors. We have some afternoon locations, and we have probably at least half of our distributions are in the late afternoon, so that people coming home from work are able to come and stop in and do that. And we really look to get good partnerships between either the town or a school system and our mobile truck, so that there's a nice sort of blending of roles and people who really have their fingers on the pulse of need, who can volunteer and also alert us to things.
Now you talk about getting sophisticated. The mobile stuff hasn't been going on for that long, right?
No, actually we soft launched a year ago, May, and last June of 2013, we opened our first 3 sites, and now we're at our max for right now.
Have all the bugs been worked out for the most part?
Pretty much so. You know, it's a
new experience, right?
We do it all year round. So there are different issues during the heat of the summer.
Yeah.
And different issues when it's really, really cold. Some of the sites are able to do it inside if it's really, really blustery. And of course, if the weather's bad, either rain or snow, you've got to get there much earlier to make sure that a path is cleared and that the guests who line up are treated, respectfully, and we try to make it as a positive an experience, as safe an experience as possible.
Are you seeing? Is it appreciated? Is it a positive result sending these mobile units out? I mean, are they utilizing it?
They're utilizing it, and people are very appreciative. The best story that I can share with you, Sean, we had gone to the Thames River Apartments on Crystal Ave here in New London. And we were giving out, it was a summer, it was summer of 2013, I think there's a second visit we had there. And we were giving out lettuce. And a little boy came with his mom and went upstairs, took their couple bags of produce, and he came back down with a big bowl and a bunch of lettuce in it, and he sat there and ate it and said it was the best thing he had eaten that day.
Wow.
I mean, he just was really into it, and he wanted to share that with us. And seeing a child.
That makes you feel good about going to work every day, huh? It makes it very satisfying, doesn't it?
Very satisfying, and we think, well, kids get, apples in their lunch and they pitch them, and here was a little kid. I mean, 5 years old, 6 years old, really just into it, and just really not only appreciative but really gusto in eating, and it was heartwarming, and it was great for all our volunteers and other people in line. It was just a nice experience. And the mobile pantries are no questions asked. We only ask to see an identification and a size of a family. And that's mostly so that we can track statistically how many people we're helping. And if we see, a third of the guests coming from a different town, then that tells us, well, maybe there's more of a need there than we might have realized, and it helps us in planning purposes.
Yeah, that gathering of information only makes your service improve
absolutely.
for next time, right?
Right.
That feel-good story is a perfect opportunity for us to take a break, so we'll do that. You want to give out a website?
Yes, uwsect.org.
We'll put a graphic up on the screen, too. And take a break and come back. Nancy Rossi, Managing Executive at the Gemma E. Moran United Way Labor Food Center. We'll come right back. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay right there. Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. I'm here with Nancy Rossi, Managing Executive of the Gemma E. Moran United Way Labor Food Center, a place that we work with every year for myself, both on the radio and on TV. Glad to be a part of it. Right before the break, we had people go to the website. What's on the website for people to see?
The website really is all about United Way and all the services and that we do and all of the programs that we support. And there is a tab specifically for the food center, so you can learn about running a food drive. You can learn about our member agencies. There's a list of all the mobile food pantry sites. There's a list of all the pantries who are member programs. So there's a lot of information there. It talks about volunteering.
Oh, yeah, so that's an important thing to mention because, you know, we're at that time of year again, and I would imagine, even though you mentioned all the great people and all those volunteer hours, 10,000 volunteers, you're probably always looking for more volunteers.
We're always looking for more volunteers. There's a variety of things to do there. There's loading and unloading trucks. There's washing vegetables. Anything you can think of. Every single item that comes in that isn't palletized or comes in a pallet, all of that has to be gone through and sorted. If you have a food drive and you bring in 40,000 pounds of food, every one of those cans and boxes has to be looked at. We have to be able to make sure that they haven't expired, and then we have to sort them all. So if you get a bag, there's a drive, you hang something on your mailbox, you put in a box of pasta and a can of soup and whatever else. Somebody at the food center is going to go through all of that and make sure that the produce goes where it needs to, the pasta goes where it needs to, the soup goes where it needs to, the peanut butter goes where it needs to, so that when shoppers come in from agencies, it's a little easier for them because they only have a 30-minute block to do the shopping for the week.
And that's just a couple of examples of what you would need volunteers
Absolutely.
for. Drivers, maybe?
Sometimes drivers. Certainly, because we live and die by our data, folks, if you have an affinity for working on the computer, we can always use that. We're looking for volunteers to do just about everything, and it's a great environment. People work hard, we play hard, we have a lot of fun, and we're doing it for the right things to give back to the community.
Is there always somebody there for the most part?
There's always somebody there. Our warehouse opens at 6:30 in the morning. Usually that first hour they're getting things ready for the day. Shoppers come in starting at 7:30. The front office is usually open about 7:30 or 8, and someone is generally there till 4:30 or 5 every day.
I wanted to get more specific about some of the stuff you said about sorting out, looking for expiration dates and things like that. People probably have good intentions, but maybe aren't necessarily completely familiar with what would be appropriate to donate as far as food items or maybe what not. Any tips in that area?
So we always look for proteins and whole grains. So whole grain cereals, whole grain pastas, whole grain breads. We look for peanut butter, tuna, canned soup, canned meats, canned stews and chilies. Those are really foundation foods that you can build a meal around. But certainly we are always welcome to take anything that people are willing to give us. We try to stay away from glass items unless you bring them right into the food center.
Right.
But canned spaghetti sauces and bottled spaghetti sauces is great. And you can add that with some pasta or some rice, and it makes a great meal.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's just enough preservative in that stuff where it'll last you for a little while, too, right? But then you also have to deal with the perishable stuff that needs to be moved out fairly quickly.
Absolutely.
Right?
We have a cooler or a refrigerator and 2 big freezers, and we're pulling things in and out of that all day long in big volumes. But the guys in the back and Sarah, who's been there since the beginning of the food center. They know their work, and they do an amazing job.
I want to go back just for a second to the mobile thing because, you know, we're getting ready to come into a season where they say it's going to be another tough winter. If you do have bad weather, do you reschedule or do you do your best to make sure it can still be on that day regardless of the weather? Any concern about them being able to get to the mobile unit to be able to pick it up? What do you do in really bad weather situations?
Our guideline is if the school system in that town is closed for the day, then we don't. But we put information on our website. With the holidays here, we usually have a food distribution the fourth Thursday of every month. Every November, the fourth Thursday is Thanksgiving. So we, in advance, reschedule some of those. But we do our best to be there on the days that folks are counting on us to be there. And I think we only had to reschedule at the last minute, maybe two all of last winter.
Even with the bad snow and all that?
Even with the bad snow,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, I want to talk turkey, Nancy.
Okay.
All right? We're at the time of year where requests for turkeys are going to be, you know, there'll be a lot of them. So how do you deal with it? What do you do? What are you looking for?
Well, to begin with, we know that there are organizations who every year are in the turkey basket mode. And so starting in early October, we send out information to all of our member agencies and to a lot of other community agencies. And we schedule a couple of meetings. We call them our turkey meetings. And we try to get an idea of what the need is. And there is some paperwork that we ask folks to fill out from the different agencies. And we try to finalize our numbers by the 1st of November. We do that because we have to order our turkeys wholesale. And we need to have a good idea of how many we need to order and how many we might be able to count on from donations or from donated dollars that can help defray the cost. Last year we gave out about 2,400, we call them Thanksgiving birds because some are whole chickens for maybe a single person, a senior, and turkeys. This year the need is even higher. We've increased by 1,000, and so there's a request for approximately 3,400 turkeys. So we've set a goal for 3,500 because we know that at the last minute, some folks who may not have been in the area when the count was set, or people kind of forget about it. They're just trying to make do and get through the day and pay their bills. That need might come up at the very last minute.
That's your buffer zone, so that you have a little. It's better to have a little bit more than not enough.
Absolutely,
certainly, yeah,
absolutely.
And that's just you, and then the other places, the other two places in Connecticut, they're dealing with their.
Oh, they're dealing with their too, and they are much larger operations than we are. But we know that a very significant percentage of the working poor live in New London County.
Do you have a good relationship with the area supermarkets?
We do.
Yeah.
We have a great relationship. ShopRite is very generous to us every year and on a quarterly basis give us a corporate donation, and we usually call that our mac and cheese and peanut butter fund. And then we have retail partnerships with Stop and Shop and Target and Walmart and BJ's. What that means is every week or 2 weeks, one of our warehouse drivers will go there and they will donate frozen protein. So the last day that something is on the meat counter that says sell by, they'll freeze it, flash freeze it for us. We pick it up frozen, we put a label on it, and then we distribute it frozen so that we guarantee that we're following safe food guidelines and we're able to get that into people's homes.
Do people donate a lot of the store gift cards, supermarket
We
gift
do get
cards?
some store gift cards, and we're able to use that for a variety of different things, and sometimes for a family who really needs a little bit of extra. So, that's a great opportunity too. We're able to leverage a dollar donated to us, we can leverage into 10 meals.
That's good.
Sounds odd.
Yeah.
Seems like a 10-cent meal, but with our buying power and our wholesale access, and a lot of the generosity of some of the big major brands, we're able to do that. So if you don't want to go and get a turkey and haul it over, send us a check for $20. We'll make that purchase and the fixings for it, and create a great meal for someone.
I just happened to notice something in the notes here, and this was from last year. Food is no longer a one-time need. What does that mean?
That means that the thought for people who are hungry, there's been a long time impression that people who are hungry, it's an emergency need, or people aren't working, or they're living on public assistance. We have found now that we're not only an emergency food system, but we're a supplemental food system because prices are so high. Living wages, what it takes for a family of 4 to live just to meet all their needs is way beyond the incomes of many people. So you may be able to pay all your bills, but you may not have enough left over. A lot of people with the economic downturn are living paycheck to paycheck, and if you have one big expense you weren't counting on, the roof, your car breaks down, a medical bill, then one of the first things that families will give up, at least for the moms and dads, is food. They'll try to get it for their kids if they can, or if transportation is limited, they don't have access to a big supermarket, they'll shop at a corner store where the prices generally are higher, and the selection and the nutrition is really compromised.
Let's take one more break and come right back. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Don't leave us. So that is our show for today. Nancy Rossi, any last appeal you want to make as far as looking for volunteers, or if anybody has questions or in need, what should they do? What can they do? If you are interested in coming and volunteering, if you're interested in making a donation, if you're interested in getting involved, go to our website, uwsect.org. Give us a call at the Food Center, 860-444-8050, or just drop by. We'll find a way to get you involved and help you give back. Nancy Rossi, Managing Executive at the Gemma E. Moran United Way Labor Food Center, which is located in New London. Thanks for being on the show. Appreciate it. My pleasure. Thank you for having us. You can see this show and many others on our YouTube sites. Until next time, I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Take care.